Hi guys, I've been getting a lot of questions recently as into how to code with an AutoHotKey ever since I figured it out myself, and I've been talking about it, and I even made a text guide on the new clan forums that I made. I've been requested for a video version of it, so I'm here today to create a basic script with you, break it down into its functions, and as I type it, I'm going to explain each step and like what each value does, what each command does, so you can take that and start making your own scripts for AutoHotKey, as it's a really great program. And on all honesty, if you're not using it to play RuneScape, you're missing out on a lot of potential. So to start off, you're first gonna obviously need AutoHotKey. I'll have a link to their website so you can download it within the description. Once you have it downloaded and everything, you're gonna want to open a new Notepad document. And go from there. Alright, so to start off, I'm going to create a very basic function that I believe every script should start off with. Alright, so what this is that these two colons, right? Everything before the two colons is going to be the hotkey. I'm using the grave accent, which is the tilde button, the button right by the 1. I like using that button as my suspend toggle because it's right next to where a majority of my keybinds are in a lot of my scripts. I use 1 through 4, Q, ER, all those down that left side of the keyboard. So it's nice having something close there in case I need to reply to a PM or type something out. And because then I can just hit it, I can type what I need to type, hit it again, and I can keep going back to using the hotkeys on my script. So in order to create the suspend toggle, you're obviously going to want to write suspend, toggle. You can just do suspend as well, but the toggle function allows you to turn it back on and off. One thing you're going to also want to do at the end of every command line is you're going to want to have a return. What the return does is that it cancels, or it turns off the actions of the script after you press it. So if I create a new line, for example, like A would be left click and then S would be moving the mouse down. If I did not have a return at the end of the A command telling it to click, if I hit S, it's going to click again right as it moves, and that becomes a 2-to-1 ratio keybind, which is technically illegal. Well, that's not technically, it is illegal within RuneScape, as everything has to be a 1-to-1 input ratio. So I'm going to create the next line, in which case I'm going to be using A as the hotkey because it's right before the colon, and then I'm going to tell it to click right. If I could spell. Okay. A lot of people like to put all this into one line as well. Something I've known over the years of coding is that you want to keep your code as clean as possible. You don't want it to be just like one line over and over again. You want to be able to recognize what each function does, how it breaks up, so you can understand it better yourself, one, and if you have any errors, you can go through the whole process better. Not to mention a clean script is a good script. It's just a good practice to get into, and I recommend that you do so. So now I'm going to create the next line. What I'm going to want S to do is I'm going to want it to move the mouse so many pixels down, so it goes from clicking right to going to drop almost instantly. Well, actually it would be instantly. So you're going to want to do mouse move, comma. So the first number after mouse move is going to be the x-axis. Axis. There we go. It's going to tell the mouse, or tell the cursor how many pixels to move either left or right. So you can move 150 pixels to the right, or you can move 150 pixels to the left. If you want to go to the left, you're going to want to use a negative number. It's real simple. The only hard part about this command is learning how many pixels you're going to want to actually move the mouse, and then so you're going to have to play around with it for a bit. But once you get the overall feel about how many pixels are within RuneScape and stuff, actually coding a superscript for it, it becomes relatively easy. So the next integer is going to be the y-axis. That's how many pixels you're going to want to move the cursor up or down. 37, you know, that's pretty basic. That's the drop function. That's 2 options down from when you right click something. So that'll bring up drop instead of use, for example. And once again with this, you can go 37 positive, which will go down 37 pixels, or you can do as a negative number, in which case it'll go up 37 pixels. So the next integer is going to be the speed. You can go 0 being the absolute fastest, and you can go 99 being the absolute slowest. You can't go higher than 99. For all basic RuneScape functions, you're going to want to keep it at 0. It's going to be, it's going to make everything instant, and unless you're doing like a really big superscript which has to like input via the game's lag, for example, or you have to accustom to certain game ticks in order to do certain functions, you're going to want to keep it at 0. Some of my scripts, for example, will use a different speed, but that's just to make up for the game ticks. The last letter is going to tell the cursor that it's going off of where its current position is, rather than going to 37 pixels from a certain point within your monitor. There are values at which you can use that'll tell it to go to a certain pixel on your monitor, but for all RuneScape functions, you're going to want to use R. That's going to tell it, so say my cursor is right here, it's just going to move 37 pixels down from there. It's not going to go over here, because that's where the 37 pixels is, or anything like that. And make sure it's a capital R. Just keeps it clean, keeps it all, good. It's a good practice to get yourself into. So then now I'm going to use D as my click left. So its basic function is just going to tell it to click left. It's very similar to the A function, except it's clicking right. You can also just leave it as click. I like to do click left. Once again, that's just a preference on how I like to code, all that fun stuff. Something else that I'm going to highly recommend you doing is going to be what's called an up command. This is an up command. This is literally just going to tell A, whenever you press A, right? It's not going to register the actual input until you let go of the key. It's like a mechanical keyboard. So a good practice to get into is to do it for all of them. Not up. There we go. This saves a lot of user error. ASDF, you can roll your hand across the keyboard doing that. Sometimes, because you're going to be rolling it, sometimes you'll hit S first by accident instead of hitting A. But when you unroll, you're going to let go of A first, and then you're going to let go of S, just because the way that the hand motion works. So it's just going to cause it to go at the release of the key rather than the pressing down. It saves a lot of user error. Highly recommend you do it. And yeah, so this is a very basic RuneScape script to get you to drop items. It's very similar to using the original mouse key functions. So after you write your shred script, whatever you want to type out, you're going to want to go to File, and then you're going to save as, and you're going to want to save it as anything.ahk. I'm going to use guide because this is for a guide. Then you're going to go to the save as type, and you're going to do all files. You're going to hit save, blah blah blah. Now, once you have it, it's going to create something similar to this. You can use this as like any other executable shortcut on your desktop or your start menu or wherever you like to keep your programs. You just simply double click it and it's going to activate it. Real simple. So this is basically all the basics to AutoHotKey, at least for RuneScape. I'll leave a link in the description that'll bring you to the AutoHotKeys wiki. That'll give you a list of all the hotkeys, including the modifiers like Control, Alt, Shift. Buttons like that. You can get a little more creative with your keybinds, and I highly recommend that you play around with it, especially with the pixel movements on like where you want your mouse to go, because you can create some pretty awesome things with AutoHotKey for RuneScape. Especially very efficient things, and that's why everyone uses this, to be honest. It's just to be extremely efficient at what you're doing. But alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope this helped. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment asking such. I'll do what I can to help you. I will not, however, write your scripts for you. This is to help you learn to write them, and thus I will help you learn to write your own. I will not create your own for you. Alright, so thanks for watching again, and have a good day.